Hi, welcome to the Creative Muse. I'm Rachel Clare. So I noticed that people visited my website who had a broken leg. I had posted a picture of my cast and my legs when I got my cast off, and I thought, I don't usually share about that, and maybe I could say a few words about what I learned when I broke my leg, because it's a pretty huge experience. And if there's anyone out there who's going through that experience now, where you've broken a bone and you're wondering what that could mean for you, how to heal, I have some juicy information, I think. I have some things that I think about why it happens and what we can learn from it. So I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. When I was 28 years old, I was teaching full-time for 8th graders. It was March 20th. It was the state testing week. It was CSAP week. So we had tests all day long. And after the tests were over, I wanted to get the kids outside and get them moving around and have some fun. So I said, let's go play kickball. And they were like, nah, they were like 8th graders. They just want to be cool and they want to sit and chill and hang out under the tree. And I was like, no, I'm not having it. You're moving your bodies. Let's go. I really put my foot down. Quickly learned when we don't bend, we break. So, pretty quick into the game. A very large boy is up. I'm pitching. I run over to first base and I tag the base, and he's coming towards me, and I should have moved. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Hindsight 2020. I had my foot on first base, which actually happened to be in a little divot, a little hole. And he knew he was out. He saw me there. But instead of stopping or slowing down or just turning around, he came running full force. He later admitted he thought it would be cool to take the teacher out. So take me out he did. He did a flying sort of, I'm gonna slide, but not really. It was like a flying leap kick into the air. And I heard the crack immediately. And I went down. And I lay there and I was writhing in pain. And the kids didn't know if I was laughing or I was crying. They weren't sure what was going on. I lay there for a little bit until I finally said, go get help. And then the gym teacher comes out and she's moving my leg all around. And she's like, it's not broken. It's fine. It's just a deep bruise. Like, it's not broken. Just moving it, moving it. Don't ever move an injury. And then the ambulance comes. And I'm thinking, well, this lady's just told me that it's not broken, it's just a deep bruise, so clearly I am a wimp. So I tell the ambulance people, I guess go away. I guess I won't be going with you today. And the guy says, can you sit up? And I go to sit up, and I immediately am horribly nauseous, and I want to vomit, and I'm like, no. And he's like, well, then you have to come in the ambulance. So in the ambulance I go, where I deny drugs, because I don't want to be a wimp, because clearly it's just bruised, and I'm a wimp. And I get to the emergency room, and they finally convince me I should take some drugs, because they're going to have to move it around quite a bit. And when the x-ray comes back, the doctor tells me it's one of the worst breaks he's ever seen. You see it in sports, in like really, intense athletic sports. So I cracked both bones in my lower leg, the tibia and the tibia, all the way through, right by the knee. So fortunately, I didn't have to have surgery. Unfortunately, I couldn't walk for 3 months because it was so close to the break. So there are some lessons I learned in breaking a bone, and I really want to share those with you. The first one is, what doesn't bend, break. So I firmly do believe that our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. And if we break a bone, consider that it's possible that we have been stiff somewhere in our lives. We have been inflexible. We have been unwilling to bend and sway and go with the flow. So consider that. It might be the lesson that's up for you at this time in your life. The second thing I want to say about breaking a bone is that it is true that there can be healing that occurs in the chemical release from the bone actually breaking, cracking. We're cellular beings. We store information in our body. We store fear and pain and anger and all that stuff that we've shoved down that we don't think is pretty. We store it. And breaking a bone can release something for us to be healed. So try that on for size. And the third thing I want to say is that, are you in your Saturn's return? Did you break your bone in your Saturn's return? I did. Saturn's return is 28 to 30 years old. It's the time when Saturn comes back to the exact point it was in the sky when you were born. And it's believed in astrology and throughout the East, Hinduism, that it is a threshold that we pass. It is leaving our youth behind, and it is moving into adulthood, and it can be really challenging. Saturn can be a restricting planet. It's a time when we're challenged, and we're either going to let go of the old and move on through the new. And it can very much be a rite of passage. For me, it truly was. And so the third thing, I think I'm on 3, that I want to say about that is that, no, this is the 4th. So if it was during your Saturn's return, or even if it wasn't, it is a forced repose. So Spirit has forced you to slow down. So if we can let go of the stories, I shouldn't have done this, I should have done it differently, it was a mistake, why did it happen, I'm so stupid, if only I had done this, if only I had said that, if only I had not made those kids play kickball, then I would not have broken my leg. So it's a really great lesson in, okay, maybe I need to slow down in my life. Maybe it's actually a time of transition and change, and maybe I've been running away from me. Maybe I haven't really fully connected to myself, and the universe now, my spirit now, is making me slow down and sit. Because sit I did for 3 months during summer, the rest of March, all of April, all of May, and all of June. I was out on crutches, huge cast, couldn't do anything. Yikes. And so face myself I did, and grow I did, and learn I did, and let go of my youth and pass a threshold I did. During that time I ended a relationship, I moved out of the place I was living, I found a new place to live, a new home. I bought a home that was an expression of me. I moved on from a relationship that no longer served. My grandmother died. I grieved a death. It was a really big transition. So my message for you today is, consider that if you have broken a bone, it is a gift. As painful and frustrating as it may seem at the start,